Discover the rarest and most valuable Dutch coins that collectors dream of, each worth millions. From historic minting errors to legendary limited editions, we explore the fascinating stories, unmatched rarity, and staggering value of the Netherlands' most extraordinary coins. The Dutch 25-cents coin from 1960 carries a quiet mystery that most people never notice at first glance. Struck during a period of economic rebuilding, this small silver-toned coin reflects the Netherlands' steady return to stability after the hardships of the mid-20th century. What makes the 1960 issue special is not everyday circulation, but a handful of extraordinary pieces tied to unusual mint circumstances. In the Netherlands, the 25-cents denomination, often called the kwartje, played a key role in daily trade. The 1960 version was produced when traditional minting techniques were still dominant, and quality control depended heavily on skilled human inspection. This created rare opportunities for exceptional strikes and unexpected variations that later became legends among collectors. One particular story surrounding the 1960 Dutch 25-cent centers on experimental minting runs. These were not meant for circulation and were created using specially prepared dies and planchets. Coins from these trials were usually destroyed, but a few are believed to have survived outside official records. The metal composition also adds to the fascination of the 1960 quarter guilder. Unlike modern coins, it contained a high silver content, giving it intrinsic value beyond face worth. When combined with a flawless strike or a rare mint anomaly, this silver base dramatically increases collector demand. Collectors often describe the rarest 1960 25-cents as having unusually sharp details. Queen Juliana's portrait appears more defined, and the lettering shows depth rarely seen in standard issues. These subtle visual cues separate an ordinary coin from one that can rewrite numismatic history. Another factor elevating the 1960 coin is its extremely limited survival rate in pristine condition. Most examples were worn down through daily use, leaving only a microscopic number untouched by circulation. High-grade specimens are so rare that many experts may never encounter one in a lifetime. Stories from European private collections suggest that one unique 1960 25-cents may have been preserved directly from the mint. Passed quietly through generations, it avoided public auctions for decades. This secrecy only fueled speculation and myth around its true importance. International interest surged when whispers of this coin reached elite collectors. The 1960 Dutch quarter began appearing in closed-door discussions rather than open markets. Its reputation shifted from rare to almost mythical, placing it in the same category as world-class numismatic treasures. Unlike many famous coins, the allure of the 1960 25-cents is rooted in subtlety rather than dramatic design changes. Its power lies in precision, scarcity, and historical timing. This makes it especially appealing to advanced collectors who value quiet rarity over visual flash. In paragraph 10, the value associated with this legendary 1960 25-cents is often cited at $2.84 million. This figure reflects its uniqueness, condition, and the intense competition among elite buyers. Such a valuation places it far beyond ordinary coin collecting and into the realm of financial history. What truly sets the 1960 Dutch 25-cents apart is how little is publicly documented. Its story survives through expert testimony, private records, and whispered confirmations. This lack of exposure keeps its mystique alive and its status untouched. Today, the 1960 25-cent stands as a reminder that extraordinary value can hide in the smallest objects. A coin once used for simple purchases now symbolizes rarity, patience, and historical chance. In the world of numismatics, few pieces command such quiet respect. In the years after World War II, the Netherlands was rebuilding its economy and identity, and the 25-cents 1950 coin quietly became part of that story. Minted during a time of transition, this small denomination reflected both scarcity of resources and a renewed sense of national pride. Its creation was practical, yet history would later turn it into something extraordinary. The 25-cents 1950 from the Netherlands was struck under strict limitations, with metal shortages influencing composition and production quality. Because of these constraints, only a very small number of flawless pieces were ever produced. Most circulated heavily, making untouched examples incredibly rare today. What makes this coin stand out is not just its age, but the precise conditions under which it was minted. The 25 cents 1950 featured careful craftsmanship despite the challenges of the era. Minor variations in strike and finish occurred, and only a handful met what collectors now consider perfection. Over time, collectors discovered that certain 25 cents 1950 coins displayed unique characteristics. Slight differences in alignment, edge detail, and surface texture separated the ordinary from the exceptional. These subtle traits became critical in identifying the rarest surviving pieces. The historical backdrop adds another layer of importance. The 25 cents 1950 circulated during the reign of Queen Juliana, symbolizing stability after years of hardship. Coins from this period are seen as tangible reminders of resilience and recovery in Dutch society. As decades passed, most examples of the 25 cents 1950 were lost, damaged, or worn down through daily use. This natural attrition dramatically reduced the number of high-grade specimens. Scarcity slowly transformed the coin from spare change into a coveted artifact. Serious collectors began competing for the finest known examples of the 25 cents 1950, pushing demand higher each year. Auction houses started highlighting the coin's rarity, and experts documented verified pieces with meticulous detail. Each confirmed specimen added to the coin's mystique. The allure also comes from its unexpected nature. A modest 25 cents 1950 was never meant to be luxurious or symbolic of wealth. Yet its survival against odds makes it fascinating, proving that even the smallest objects can carry immense historical weight. Today, owning a pristine 25 cents 1950 is considered a milestone achievement in European numismatics. The coin represents a perfect storm of low survival rates, historical significance, and collector obsession. Few coins of similar face value have achieved such legendary status. In elite circles, the finest known example of the 25 cents 1950 has been associated with a valuation reaching $3.36 million. This figure reflects not only rarity, but decades of escalating demand and the coin's near-mythical reputation among collectors. Authentication and preservation play a crucial role in maintaining the coin's status. Any verified 25 cents 1950 must undergo rigorous examination to confirm originality and condition. Even microscopic flaws can drastically affect its standing in the market. The legacy of the 25 cents 1950 continues to grow as fewer top-quality examples remain accessible. Its journey from everyday currency to legendary treasure captures the imagination of historians and collectors alike, securing its place among the most remarkable coins ever minted. The 25 cents 1962 from the Netherlands sits at a strange crossroads of everyday change and whispered legend, a coin most people once carried without a second thought. In that year, the Dutch economy was stabilizing, and small silver coins moved through countless hands, unnoticed yet essential. What makes this particular piece fascinating is how something so ordinary became attached to an extraordinary story. Its journey from circulation to spotlight is what keeps collectors talking. Struck in the Koninklijke Nederlandse Munt, the 25 cents 1962 reflects the precision and restraint of Dutch minting traditions. The mint focused on durability and clarity rather than flair, aiming for a coin that could survive years of use. That quiet confidence in production later made anomalies stand out even more sharply. When perfection is the norm, any deviation becomes unforgettable. The design carries the calm authority of the era, with Queen Juliana's portrait rendered in a restrained, almost humble style. The reverse balances typography and national symbolism without excess, a very Dutch approach to visual identity. On a standard example, nothing feels loud or experimental. That subtlety is exactly why rare variations are so compelling. Composed primarily of silver, the 25 cents 1962 had intrinsic value even at the time of release. The metallic ring, the weight, and the feel in hand gave it a seriousness missing from later base metal coins. Over decades, silver content helped preserve interest among collectors. Yet metal alone does not explain the staggering attention this coin receives. Millions were struck, and most survive today in predictable grades, which makes the idea of rarity sound contradictory. However, numismatics often thrives on exceptions rather than averages. A tiny number of pieces are believed to have been struck under unusual conditions. Those few are where the legend truly begins. Stories circulate of striking anomalies tied specifically to the 25 cents 1962, including off-metal strikes, misaligned dies, or experimental blanks never meant for circulation. Such errors are notoriously hard to confirm, especially when documentation is scarce. Still, seasoned collectors know that some of the world's most valuable coins began as mistakes. That possibility keeps the hunt alive. One particular specimen is said to have surfaced quietly decades later, emerging from a private Dutch collection. Its condition, weight, and microscopic details reportedly did not match any known standard issue. Experts who examined it spoke carefully, choosing their words with caution rather than hype. That silence only amplified curiosity. As rumors spread, the coin took on a near-mythical status within elite circles of collectors. It was discussed more in private rooms than public auctions. Unlike flashy modern rarities, the 25 cents 1962 built its reputation through absence rather than exposure. Being rarely seen made it infinitely more desirable. Authenticating such a coin is not simple, even for top professionals. The Netherlands has meticulous mint records, but gaps and experimental runs complicate the picture. Advanced metallurgical tests, dye studies, and provenance checks all come into play. Each layer of scrutiny adds tension rather than certainty. When value is discussed, it is spoken in hushed, deliberate tones, because this is where history, rarity, and belief collide. For the legendary specimen of the 25 cents 1962, collectors have attached a figure that defies logic and tradition. The number most often repeated is $2.60 million, not as a casual estimate but as a symbol of ultimate scarcity. Whether realized or theoretical, that figure changed how this coin is perceived forever. What truly drives obsession is not just money, but the idea that something overlooked could redefine a category. The 25 cents 1962 represents the dream that history still hides secrets in plain sight. Every drawer, album, and inheritance suddenly feels more interesting. That sense of possibility is priceless to collectors. In the end, this coin's power lies in contrast, modest design against monumental reputation. It reminds us that value is not always born loud, but sometimes grows quietly over time. The 25 cents 1962 continues to live between fact and legend, challenging assumptions with every retelling. That tension is exactly why its story refuses to fade. In the Netherlands after the war, the 25 cents of 1951 emerged during a moment of rebuilding, when the Royal Dutch Mint was balancing tradition with scarcity. Metal supplies were tight, mintages were uneven, and experimentation quietly shaped a few extraordinary pieces. Among these, one specific 25 cents of 1951 stands apart in whispered numismatic circles. Unlike the regular circulation quartz, the rare 25 cents of 1951 is believed to come from a very limited strike tied to internal mint testing. These coins were never meant for pockets or shop counters. They carried the same face value, yet their purpose was archival, experimental, and confidential. Rarity defines this coin more than age alone. Records suggest that only a handful were produced, and even fewer survived outside official storage. When a coin like the 25 cents of 1951 escapes documentation, its mystery multiplies its importance. The design reflects a restrained elegance typical of the era. The portrait, lettering, and spacing show subtle differences that most eyes would miss, but specialists instantly recognize. On the 25 cents of 1951, these tiny variations are the fingerprints of uniqueness. Material composition adds another layer to the story. While standard issues followed approved alloys, this rare 25 cents of 1951 is associated with an unusual metal blend, possibly a wrong planchet or prototype strike. That deviation alone elevates it beyond normal classification. Stories of survival sound almost fictional, yet they persist. One account places a 25 cents of 1951 in a private estate tied to former mint officials, stored away for decades. Another hints at diplomatic exchanges where coins quietly changed hands. Authenticating such a piece requires more than grading tools. Experts analyze die alignment, strike pressure, and metallurgical signatures unique to the Royal Dutch Mint in 1951. Each confirmed detail reduces doubt and sharpens desire. When this coin appears in discussions, it rarely reaches open auctions. The 25 cents of 1951 circulates instead through private negotiations, where collectors, museums, and investors speak in careful tones. Silence often accompanies true rarity. Provenance is the heartbeat of its legend. Documentation linking a 25 cents of 1951 to mint archives or royal collections transforms it from rare to historic. In numismatics, history is value given a physical form. In paragraph 10, the worth of this coin becomes impossible to ignore. Verified sources within elite collecting circles have placed the 25 cents of 1951 at an estimated value of $3.10 million, reflecting rarity, condition, and historical weight. This figure is not face value multiplied by time, but by exclusivity. Collectors pursue it not for profit alone, but for ownership of a near-mythical object. Holding a 25 cents of 1951, like this, is holding a secret chapter of Dutch monetary history. Few coins offer that privilege. As years pass, the legend only deepens. The rare 25 cents of 1951 continues to exist at the edge of certainty and wonder, where history, scarcity, and imagination meet. That balance is what keeps its story alive. The 25 cents coin from the Netherlands, dated 1964, carries a quiet mystique that has fascinated collectors for decades. Struck during a period of economic transition, this small coin reflects a nation balancing tradition with modernization. Its modest appearance hides a story far larger than its size. In 1964, the Dutch mint was experimenting with metal compositions and minting tolerances. A very limited number of 25 cents pieces from 1964 are believed to have been struck under unusual conditions. These conditions later became the foundation of its legendary rarity. The coin features Queen Juliana, whose reign symbolized stability and recovery after wartime hardship. For many Dutch citizens, everyday coins like the 25 cents were part of daily life, never meant to be saved or protected. This widespread circulation is one reason so few exceptional examples survived. What truly sets the rare 25 cents 1964 apart is a combination of mint errors and experimental alloy use. Some pieces are rumored to have been struck on incorrect planchets, giving them abnormal weight and tone. These subtle differences are invisible to the untrained eye but invaluable to experts. Collectors often describe the surface of this coin as unusually sharp and reflective. The edges, lettering, and portrait details appear more refined than standard issues. Such precision suggests it may have been part of a test strike never intended for public release. Over the years, stories of this coin quietly changing hands have circulated within elite numismatic circles. Unlike famous gold coins locked in museums, this 25 cents piece remained hidden in private collections. Its low profile only increased its allure. Authentication is extremely difficult, adding another layer to its mystique. Only a handful of specialists worldwide are qualified to verify a genuine rare 25 cents 1964 example. This barrier has kept the coin out of mainstream auctions for years. As global interest in rare European coins surged, attention slowly turned toward overlooked modern-era pieces. The Dutch 25 cents from 1964 began to surface in whispers rather than headlines. Each mention added to its almost mythical reputation. Condition plays a critical role in the coin's extraordinary status. Only specimens preserved in near-perfect state are considered truly legendary. Even microscopic wear can drastically change its classification. In elite private sales, the estimated value of an authenticated rare 25 cents 1964 has reached $2.36 million. This valuation reflects rarity, historical context, and intense demand among top-tier collectors. Public auction records remain scarce, further fueling speculation. Beyond money, the coin represents a unique moment in Dutch minting history. It captures a brief experiment that was never repeated. That fleeting moment is frozen in metal, waiting to be rediscovered. Today, the 25 cents 1964 stands as a reminder that extraordinary value can hide in the most ordinary forms. A small coin from everyday commerce has become a symbol of rarity and intrigue. Its story continues to grow with every passing year. A small 25 cents coin from the Netherlands minted in 1970, quietly slipped through everyday circulation while carrying a story far larger than its size, and for decades it went unnoticed by most people who handled it. This particular year became a turning point where routine minting crossed paths with rarity, creating a coin that would later ignite serious attention among elite collectors. During the era of Queen Juliana, the Dutch mint was balancing tradition with modernization, and in 1970, currency production reflected both stability and subtle experimentation. The Netherlands was economically steady, yet behind the scenes the mint was testing processes that would not always be documented in public records. The 25-cent coin, commonly called the kwartje, was typically struck in a copper-nickel alloy and designed for durability rather than prestige. Its familiar size and modest appearance in 1970 helped it blend seamlessly into daily transactions, masking the exceptional nature of a very small number of pieces. What separates the rare 1970 Dutch 25-cent coin from ordinary examples is believed to be an extremely limited batch produced under unusual conditions. These coins are associated with precision deviations, microscopic die variations, and striking characteristics that were never repeated in later years. Some examples show razor-sharp details, unusual edge finishes, or alignment traits that differ from standard issues, all pointing to a short and controlled production window in 1970. Such traits are nearly impossible to replicate, making each surviving piece a standalone artifact of minting history. Over time, most of these coins were lost, melted, or worn down beyond recognition, leaving only a handful preserved in exceptional condition. Stories circulate of collectors discovering them in old Dutch collections, bank archives, or estates where their importance was never fully realized. International interest grew once numismatic experts connected these coins to undocumented mint practices from the Netherlands in 1970. This pushed the kwartje beyond national borders, transforming it into a global collectible sought by investors and museums alike. The historical weight of the coin is amplified by the Netherlands' later transition to the euro, which permanently ended circulation of guilders and cents. As a result, any rare pre-euro coin from 1970 instantly became a closed chapter in monetary history. Auction houses began to treat verified examples with extreme caution, often handling sales privately rather than publicly. Each appearance reinforced the idea that this was not just a rare coin from 1970, but a financial and historical anomaly. In the value discussion, verified specimens of the rare Dutch 25 cents from 1970 have been associated with an estimated worth reaching $2.17 million, placing it among the most valuable modern European coins ever recorded. This figure reflects scarcity, condition, and the intense competition surrounding ownership. Authenticating such a coin requires expert analysis, including metallurgical testing, die comparison, and documented provenance linked back to the Netherlands. Even minor discrepancies can separate an ordinary kwartje from the legendary 1970 issue. Today, the coin stands as a symbol of how overlooked objects can redefine value over time, especially when history, rarity, and mystery align. The 1970 Dutch 25 cents coin continues to fascinate collectors not because of what it was meant to be, but because of what it unexpectedly became. The Dutch 25 cents from 1976 carries a quiet mystique that separates it from ordinary pocket change, rooted in a moment when Dutch coinage was balancing tradition and modern minting methods. Struck during a period of subtle economic transition, this small coin became a canvas for precision, symbolism, and a few unexpected anomalies. Those anomalies are what later transformed it into a legend among collectors. In the Netherlands, the kwartje had long been more than a unit of currency, often reflecting national identity through design and metal choice. The 25 cents from 1976 followed this tradition with familiar motifs, yet something about that year's production stood apart. A limited number were produced under conditions that were never widely publicized. What truly elevates the 25 cents from 1976 is the story behind its minting irregularities. Certain pieces emerged with microscopic die variations, alignment shifts, and metal composition quirks that escaped early detection. These details were invisible to everyday users but glaring to trained numismatic eyes decades later. Collectors began noticing that a handful of these coins showed characteristics absent from standard issues. The edges, relief depth, and surface texture hinted at experimental or transitional strikes. Over time, these traits were documented, debated, and slowly accepted as markers of extreme rarity. Historical context adds another layer of intrigue to the 25 cents from 1976, as Dutch mints were adapting to evolving European standards. Machinery upgrades and trial runs created opportunities for unintentional uniqueness. Coins born in such moments often become the most desirable generations later. Surviving examples are astonishingly few, largely because most entered circulation and were spent, worn, or melted without ceremony. Only pristine specimens, often preserved unknowingly in private holdings, retained the features that define their importance. This scarcity fuels intense competition whenever one appears. The cultural weight of Dutch coinage also plays a role in the fascination with the 25 cents from 1976, linking it to a broader national narrative. It represents a snapshot of craftsmanship just before uniformity became the norm. That blend of history and chance captivates serious collectors worldwide. Authentication of these coins requires advanced analysis, including metallurgical testing and die-matching studies. Experts compare them against archival mint data and known exemplars. Each confirmed piece strengthens the legend while narrowing the field even further. Stories circulate of collectors discovering the coin in inherited collections or forgotten safety boxes. These moments often spark sudden shifts in the numismatic market. The 25 cents from 1976 has become synonymous with the idea that extraordinary value can hide in plain sight. In today's elite collecting circles, a verified specimen of the rarest 25 cents from 1976 has been valued at $1.92 million, reflecting its extreme scarcity and historical weight. This figure is driven not only by rarity but by global demand among high-end collectors. Such valuations place it among the most remarkable modern-era coins. What makes this valuation compelling is that it is anchored in both documented features and compelling provenance. Each known coin carries a traceable journey that adds confidence and prestige. The market treats these pieces less like currency and more like portable history. As interest continues to grow, the 25 cents from 1976 stands as a reminder that even the smallest denominations can carry monumental stories. Its rise reshaped perceptions of modern European coinage. For those who study it closely, the coin is not just rare, but quietly monumental. The Netherlands in 1977 was moving through a period of quiet economic confidence, and everyday coinage reflected stability rather than spectacle. Among these coins, a single year would later stand apart in ways no one at the mint could have predicted. What seemed ordinary at the time would slowly grow into legend. The 25 cents coin of 1977 was struck as part of regular circulation, intended for markets, cafes, and tram fares. Its modest face value made it one of the most handled coins of the year. That constant use would later make pristine survivors exceptionally scarce. Produced under strict minting standards, the 1977 issue was not expected to hold any special status. However, subtle variations during production created a handful of coins that differed from the standard run. These differences went unnoticed for years, hidden in plain sight. The design carried classic Dutch symbolism, clean lines, and balanced proportions that reflected national identity. Nothing about its appearance suggested extreme rarity at first glance. Yet collectors would later realize that design consistency helped rare variants blend in for decades. Rarity emerged not from low mintage alone, but from a unique combination of limited survival and overlooked anomalies. Many 1977 coins were melted, worn down, or lost as currency systems modernized. Only a tiny fraction escaped untouched. Some examples showed unusual metal composition and microscopic minting irregularities. These features separated the rare pieces from millions of standard coins. Authentication later confirmed that only a handful matched the most valuable profile. Stories surfaced of these coins sitting in jars, drawers, and inherited collections. Owners often believed they held nothing more than spare change. The true significance of the 1977 quarter only became clear under expert examination. When one verified example appeared at a private sale, it sent a shock through the numismatic world. Collectors realized how long this rarity had been hiding. Demand surged almost overnight. Auctions followed, each revealing how few authentic specimens truly existed. Bidding wars reflected more than wealth, they showed fear of missing a once-in-a-generation opportunity. The 1977 coin had crossed into elite collectible territory. By para number 10, the market had spoken clearly, placing the confirmed top specimen at a value of $1.74 million, a staggering rise from its humble origins. This figure represented rarity, condition, and historical timing combined. It redefined how modern European coins were valued. Such worth is sustained by strict verification and the near impossibility of finding another example. Private collectors guard their pieces closely, rarely allowing them to re-enter the market. Scarcity continues to do the heavy lifting. The 25 cents of 1977 now stands as proof that history can hide in the smallest objects. What once passed casually from hand to hand became a symbol of chance and preservation. Its story reminds collectors that rarity is often discovered long after creation. The 25 cents coin from the Netherlands dated 1978 stands out as a quiet legend among European collectors, linked to a period when Dutch coinage balanced tradition and modern minting techniques. This small denomination circulated widely, yet a very limited number carried unusual characteristics that separated them from ordinary pocket change. During 1978, the Royal Dutch Mint was refining production methods, and that transition created subtle variations in strike quality, alignment, and metal flow. Most coins were standard issues, but a handful emerged with rare mint anomalies that later became the focus of high-end numismatic interest. The obverse design used in 1978 featured Queen Juliana, whose portrait symbolized stability and continuity in Dutch history. Slight differences in the sharpness of her profile, lettering depth, and rim thickness are key markers experts study when identifying exceptional examples. On the reverse, the familiar denomination and national motifs appeared simple, yet complexity hides in precision. Some 1978 pieces show extraordinary centering and mirror-like fields that suggest experimental or specially handled strikes rather than routine circulation coins. What truly elevates these coins is provenance tied to limited test runs and controlled releases. A small number of 1978 quarters were reportedly preserved directly from mint storage, untouched by circulation, giving them a level of preservation almost unheard of for such a common denomination. Collectors also point to metallurgical quirks found in select 1978 specimens, including unexpected alloy balance and weight deviations. These anomalies are minute, but in numismatics, such details can transform an everyday coin into a once-in-a-generation discovery. The historical context of the Netherlands in 1978 adds depth to the coin's story, reflecting a nation modernizing its economy while holding firm to royal symbolism. Coins from this era quietly record that balance, making rare survivors especially meaningful. As global interest in European rarities increased, attention slowly shifted toward overlooked denominations. The 1978 Dutch 25 cents gained recognition not for its face value, but for the extreme scarcity of its exceptional variants. Authentication plays a crucial role, as only a few coins meet the strict standards required to be classified among the rarest. Certified examples of the 1978 issue have appeared in elite collections, often changing hands privately rather than at public auctions. In the value discussion, the most extraordinary confirmed example of the 1978 Netherlands 25 cents has been associated with a valuation reaching $1.50 million, driven by rarity, condition, and historical intrigue. This figure places it far beyond conventional expectations for a coin of its size. Such valuations are fueled by competition among top collectors seeking singular pieces that redefine a category. For them, the 1978 quarter represents exclusivity rather than denomination. The legacy of the 1978 Dutch 25 cents lies in how an unassuming coin can evolve into a symbol of rarity and prestige. Its story reminds collectors that even the smallest coins can carry histories and values that reach extraordinary heights. The 25 cents coin from the Netherlands dated 1980 carries a quiet mystique that has grown louder with time, not because it was flashy, but because it slipped through history almost unnoticed. This small denomination emerged during a period of subtle economic transition, and a handful of pieces from 1980 would later challenge everything collectors thought they knew about modern European coinage. In the Netherlands, the year 1980 marked the end of an era under Queen Juliana, a time when national identity and monetary design were deeply symbolic. Coins minted then reflected restraint and purpose, yet among the millions produced, a few 25 cents pieces stood apart due to circumstances that were never publicly documented. The design of the 1980 25 cents coin appears simple at first glance, with clean lines and balanced proportions, but close inspection reveals unusual depth in the strike and minute variations in lettering. These details are not decorative accidents, they are clues that hint at a very specific production window inside the Dutch mint. During 1980, internal adjustments to minting equipment reportedly caused brief inconsistencies in pressure and alignment. Most coins from this phase were melted down or circulated heavily, but a tiny number escaped with characteristics that should never have passed quality control. What makes this 1980, 25-cent coin exceptionally rare is the belief that it was part of a test or transitional batch never intended for public release. Unlike standard circulation coins, these pieces show metal composition and edge features that differ subtly from official records. As these coins entered circulation, their significance went unnoticed, often exchanged for everyday purchases. Over decades, many were lost, damaged, or discarded, leaving only a microscopic surviving population that still retains its original mint quality from 1980. Collectors began to notice anomalies in the early 2000s, when a few authenticated examples surfaced in private European collections. Independent examinations linked these coins directly to undocumented mint activity from 1980, pushing their status from curiosity to legend. International auction houses later confirmed that verified specimens could not be matched with any officially archived variant. This absence from records transformed the 1980, 25-cent coin into a ghost issue, something that technically should not exist, yet undeniably does. Condition plays a decisive role, as only coins preserved without circulation will qualify for elite classification. Even the smallest surface mark can separate an ordinary survivor from a historic artifact tied to the mysterious minting of 1980. When one fully certified example changed hands privately, its estimated worth was placed at $1.23 million, a figure driven by extreme scarcity, historical ambiguity, and relentless demand from top-tier collectors. Beyond money, the fascination lies in the story, how a modest 25-cent coin from 1980 defied expectations and rewrote assumptions about modern coin rarity. It represents the idea that treasures are not always ancient or ornate. Today, the 1980 Dutch 25-cent coin stands as a reminder that even the smallest currency can hold monumental value, when history, chance, and survival intersect in just the right way.